men ruining book spaces and the book community? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, or welcome. My name is Heidi. This is my channel all around book related content. And today also happens to be International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day, or belated International Women's Day. And honestly, what better way to celebrate a woman's specific holiday than to discuss men? We are out here just fighting that patriarchy, everybody. That was a joke. Maybe not a good one, but alas, here we are. Anyways, so as usual, go ahead and get your drink of choice, your hot tea, your cocoa, your coffee, whatever your beverage of choice may be. This is a tea. As usual, I made it too close to actually starting filming this video, and it is too hot to drink. You would think I would learn by now. It's fine. But anyways, so the reason that we're all here today is to discuss some unfortunate events that have happened in the book community as of very recently. And I think that it's important to have conversations around some of the things that are happening, so that not to add to some of the drama of some of the things that are happening, but really just to look at what's going on and hopefully be able to warn folks to not fall into some of the things that could happen in the future. So one thing that I want to state before we start diving into some of the things that are happening is all of the information that I am presenting to you are all like second-hand accounts, because I have not personally been involved with any of these things. I am just reporting out to you what has been reported in general. So no going in that I am not involved. This is just hearsay, and that what I say could be inaccurate, and we could get additional information later about these situations that might change anything that is said currently in this video. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because again, I am just somebody that heard about these situations, and I would like to report to you about some of these situations for your awareness. So one of the first things that I would like to report out on is a situation that was brought to my attention on Instagram. And I saw a couple of videos, and as always, your homegirl didn't save the videos so that I could share those with you, but I digress on that point. I guess there have been a handful of women that have come forth. All of them are staying anonymous at this point, at least from the last video I saw. Everybody at this point is staying anonymous, but have essentially reported that there have been gentlemen in the book community that they had started talking to, and the women wound up sending explicit pictures to these gentlemen. Well, gentlemen might be too nice of a word. So these men, wound up sending pictures to these men, and now they found out that, like, basically these men have been speaking to multiple women and have basically been doing this to multiple women, getting these explicit pictures, all of these things that they were not aware of. And obviously they were upset when they found this out, and they wanted to come forth and basically state to everybody, like, hey, these are some of the things that these men are doing. They are using tactics, from what I understand, that they read in like romance books or books in general, and they're using those tactics when speaking to these women, and they're getting them to send these pictures And now that the women want to come forth and like basically warn other women, the men are basically threatening them and say, oh, I'm going to ruin your reputation because you sent me these pictures and you better not report out on this, all of this other kind of stuff. So it is a very terrible situation because it's putting these women in a very vulnerable place, and it's using them and blackmailing them essentially. And I wanted to bring this forward because I feel like many people can get caught up in a situation where they start talking to people, whether or not that's in person, whether or not that's online. And, you know, sometimes you can make questionable decisions thinking that the person you're talking to is your friend or is somebody that wouldn't betray you in some kind of capacity. And that is not always the reality of some people out here on the internet and out here in the world in general. So I wanted to discuss this because I feel like, one, it should be reported out on that these are things that are happening. And also to just put a reminder out there that people on the internet are not always your friend. And you really need to be mindful of who you're talking to, what information that you're sharing with people. Because I would hate for more people, men, women, anybody, to go out and think that they're having some sort of a meaningful connection with somebody, and it's not actually what they think it is. And then, you know, like you get put into these very terrible situations where somebody's essentially now trying to blackmail you. And unfortunately, while I don't think it's okay that somebody's reputation can be ruined due to somebody like leaking like explicit photos if they weren't consensually put out on the internet, unfortunately in today's day and age, there's still a stigma around those type of things, and it can ruin your reputation, and it can negatively affect your life, not only on the internet, but, you know, personally, potentially with work. So I just wanted to report this out to people saying, hey, there are multiple women that have come forth and stated that there are men that are doing this currently in the book community. And that just, again, be really mindful of who you're speaking to, because I would hate for anybody to get into a situation like this and have to be put in this very uncomfortable, awkward space when you weren't doing anything, I would say, wrong by making what you think is a meaningful connection with another person. So just be really mindful, and it saddens me that this is happening in the book community because I hold the book community at a very high regard, and it's just unfortunate that this is something that is happening and it is affecting people in the book community. So again, just be very mindful of what you're sharing and who you're sharing it with. And again, I'm so sorry to any individual that is being negatively affected by this situation. Know that you're in my thoughts. Not that that is going to do things at the end of the day, but I hope that things work out in a positive way, in whatever way that's being handled. So again, just wanted to come on here, talk about that a little bit. Another thing that I would like to touch on briefly is the Naomi King and Daniel Greene situation. So if you're not aware, Naomi King came onto YouTube and put a very emotional video out that was an account of, it sounded like, sexual harassment of some capacity. I didn't see this video because it has now been taken down. And she came forth and basically stated that another creator, Daniel Greene, sexually harassed her in some capacity. Again, I did not see the initial video that came up. One thing that I want to touch base on with this situation is not the situation itself per se, because I feel like it's kind of been discussed quite a bit in the book community at this point. And obviously, like, if what Naomi King is, stating happened, and if Daniel King did all of the things that, were stated in the video, then shame on him. I hope that whatever needs done legal-wise happens legal-wise with that situation. And that's kind of where I will leave that, just because, again, I don't know enough about the situation. I didn't see the initial video, but I have seen reactions to that video. And I want to just state that we as a book community need to be less reactive to situations. And I get why, when that video first aired, to have the gut reaction of immediately, taking her side and basically shunning Daniel Greene, is like everybody's gut reaction. And that is a very fair and very real reaction to things like that. And if I saw the video, I would have probably felt the same way. The problem when we have those gut reactions without having necessarily the full picture is there starts getting a lot of the blame game. There starts getting a lot of like, almost like the telephone in a way, where like the information is like misconstrued as it's being told through different accounts. And while I am not stating one person is right, one person is wrong, because again, I do not know the situation. And again, if Daniel Greene did the things that were stated in the video, then again, I hope that he gets legal action taken against him. So, with that said, people were reacting before he had a chance to have any kind of a reaction back. And I know that, that might come off as like, well, that's not fair. And if he did this, like, he shouldn't speak up. We have to remind everybody, there's two sides to every story. One side could be completely wrong and completely bad in every way, but there's always two sides to every story. And we also have to remember, it's the whole concept of innocent until proven guilty. We have to not allow our initial like gut reaction to make us go out and like put these reaction videos out here without having the full facts or situation. So it's one of those things that I get why somebody has like the initial gut reaction, and like why you want to react and why you want to like point fingers and point blame. And again, if everything in that video that Naomi put out, Naomi King put out is accurate, then I get it. But from what I understand, that video has since been taken down. And I feel like from what I'm seeing, just from what I'm seeing and the like kind of the like what I'm trying to piece together, there seems to be some questioning of who's right and who's wrong in this situation. And again, everybody on the internet immediately had those gut reactions before we had enough information. And I just want to remind everybody that when these things do come up, that we have to listen to what's being presented to us and allow for more time to pass so we get more pieces of information to really get a full understanding of the situation before having our initial gut reactions to something. So just kind of something that I have noticed where I saw a lot of people pointing fingers, and honestly, I feel like making the situation worse than the situation already was is because of some of the reaction videos and some of like the just like ways that people were handling their reactions. Again, whoever is in the wrong, whoever is in the right, we need to allow that information to come out, and we need to hear more of the story before we make snap judgments on things. So just kind of my observations from that situation. One more topic that I wanted to discuss in this video are male content creators currently in like the book community. And I wanted to talk about male content creators because the book space has been, you know, a pretty female dominated space. And when you get men that come into female dominated spaces, sometimes that can create very bizarre dynamics. And one of the things that I've noticed personally, this could be completely off base, so just know that, but this is just this is Heidi having thoughts, and they might be weird, but I feel like a lot of male content creators, especially what is perceived to be straight male content creators, really get put on this like bizarre pedestal by a lot of women in the book community. And I feel like it's like oh well, you know, like they're like, you know, men that are actually into the things that I'm into, and they're, you know, like they read like the books that I read. And I feel like there's this weird dynamic in the book community where some male content creators are out here with just absolutely insane following. But if you look at their content, it's not very good. Like, it's not good content. And I think that it's a lot of like the male content, I feel like, is very like repetitive content. Like, you know, like you get like one like male or man like content creator, and that does really well, and then you get like repeats almost of that content creator. And I feel that like I'll like go through and read like the comment sections, and there's some ladies out here that are, ma'am, go take a cold shower. Go on. You need it, ma'am. And I feel like we put these content creators on these weird pedestals, and I'm like, their content is arguably not that good, and I feel like the only reason that so many people are following them is because they basically fill in a gap of like what is perceived to be like straight men in the community. And it's just really weird to like watch, because I keep seeing, you know, like there's been a bunch of like men that have come and like they're doing like reaction videos to like the ACOTAR series, or they're doing like reaction videos to the like Throne of Glass series. And like I feel like I watch these and they don't feel original to me in any capacity. Like, one, I feel like I've seen women content creators basically create the exact same thing, but they don't get as popular because there's more women creators. And I also feel like because you're a man, for some reason, you're getting more attention because you're a man, even though you're creating either the same content as a woman or you're creating subpar content to a woman. And it's just like such a wild dynamic to like sit back and watch. And I'm like, am I the only one noticing this? Like, am I the only one like noticing that like men, like, again, like men are put on this like weird pedestal in like the book community that they shouldn't get based upon the content that they're actually putting forth. And I'm not saying that's all male content creators, because there's a couple men that I follow that I adore. I'm like, you are out here creating just like absolutely phenomenal banger original content, and keep doing that. Please keep doing you. But there's also some like, you know, male content creators that I'm just like, you're not doing anything interesting. You're not doing anything that I think is putting value, and yet you're having hundreds of thousands of followers and, you know, hundreds of thousands of likes, you know, thousands of comments on subpar content. And I just really feel like we as women, this is on us, because I feel like we're the ones that are putting these men on these pedestals that they don't deserve, because they happen to be a man in the space. So can we like use a little more critical thinking when it comes to some of the content creators that we actually are following? Because some people are not adding any value, and y'all are out here just acting like they're the greatest thing that's ever happened to like the bookish community. And it's like, they're not adding any extra value. They just happen to be a man telling you the same information that a woman also has like said, but for some reason, when the man says it, y'all are just listening. Stop it. And again, if you like certain male content creators, that's great. Again, I have a handful of like men that I follow in the bookish community that I adore. Absolutely love them. I think they're fantastic. I think they're doing original content, and they're just killing the game. But there's also some where I'm definitely side-eyeing, because you're not doing anything of actual interest, and yet somehow you're still on a pedestal when you shouldn't be. And it's a weird dynamic, and I just, it's weird, and it's an observation I've made, and I just don't get it. And I think that we should really start looking at that. Like, we should really start like evaluating why like these men are being put on these like weird pedestals. I digress on this point. I digress. That's all I got today. This might have just been, you know, a whole video of me rambling on, as always, because, you know, I love me a rambling on video. But if you agree with some of these things, disagree with some of these things, as always, please put a comment below. Please be polite and respectful about it, because I'll delete, or I'll hurt your feelings, because I'm really good at that too. So thank you for listening to my rambles, and I hope that you are having a great day, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great reading month. Hope to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.